Welcome everybody to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, our first Inside the Cardinal Playbook for 2013. Larry Holly will join us in a minute, but first it's Jill Kress to talk about Jewel women's basketball. Just like the men, you split your two games. The University of Indianapolis ranked in the top 10 on Thursday night, a loss, and then St. Joseph's College on Saturday afternoon, a win. What do you take from two games inside the GLBC now in general?
The Indianapolis game was just disappointing with the way we shot, 12 for 67. But being in the GLBC, I mean, it's tough, and you're going to have games like that, and you're going to have games that you play well, and they came in. They're a great team, number 7 in the nation, and.
But 12 for 67. I mean, when was the last time you shot that poorly?
Yeah, you're not going to win a lot of games that way, no matter who you play, and some of it was them, but a lot of it was us. I mean, they played zone a lot the second half, and we just didn't hit the shots, and typically we shoot better than that, and so that part was disappointing, especially had we shot reasonable, we may have had a shot at beating them, or at least keeping it close and respectable. It ended up being about 17 points, and I think it probably could have been worse.
I don't know what the stats were, Jill, but it seemed to me watching the game, you didn't have near the steals and transitional points and transitional shots that you normally get. Certainly that affected your shooting percentage.
Well, they were probably the quickest team we've faced so far. Pitt State was really athletic, but this team was so quick, and we didn't get a lot of advantage from our full court defense or being able to outrun them. And they got a lot of transition baskets early. We made some adjustments the second half, and I thought handled that better. But I think they were very well prepared for us, and they played with a lot of energy. And they played hard, and it was tough to guard them all the time because they don't ever stop moving. And he did a great job with them, and they were very well prepared, and a good team with great athletes.
Anything about the zone that was particularly hard, because it seemed like for the most part it was kind of a straight 2-3?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think our confidence is down a little bit against the zone, and that's just going to take the players getting through that. We miss a lot of open people, and all of our players get the film, so hopefully they're taking the time to watch it. Tomorrow we'll watch a little more of it because St. Joseph's did the same thing with us, ran zone, and when we played Kansas Newman, so we're going to face a zone, and right now that's what I would run against us. But I think our players will respond, and we have great shooters out there, and I think right now they're just questioning themselves a little bit, and we maybe were not taking the shots that we needed to. I think when we got it inside, some good things happened. Even when they kicked it out, our three-point percentage went up. Once we would get it inside and kick it out, or get it inside and score a little bit that way, that was our best. But 12 baskets, there wasn't a lot going in at that time.
Especially in the first half, it seemed like it would be forever before you scored. You come out and then have a day to prepare for St. Joseph's College, and kind of tight in the first half. Again, were you a little bit more happy with the effort, the intensity, and the shooting to begin the game?
Yeah, I thought the first 5 minutes we came out and played really hard. I think we went into a zone, they went into a zone, and we tightened up a little bit, and really talked to them at halftime. There were some things that I didn't think we were taking advantage of. Coach Broughton didn't think we were taking advantage of being able to get out and run. And the second half, I thought we did, getting out and got some easy baskets, transition. And be quite honestly, our best team is when we run, and our players know that, and so that's something that we're really focusing on in practices.
Yeah, it really seemed that we got some snapshots of how good that running game can be during the St. Joseph's College game.
Yeah, and we have some kids that can run the floor, and Caitlin Wood gets a rebound, post player. She sees the floor so well and understands the game, and great passer, and she got some passes down quick to Chelsea and to Ariel, and when we can do that, we're pretty good.
Let's talk about Caitlin, because in the two games, she was very solid for you.
Yeah, and again, I think she's just really comfortable this year, and she's in probably the best shape that I've seen her from even in junior college. I think she's really working hard at that, and she's got a comfort level, and there's some confidence in there, and there's confidence with her players around her that she just is a great leader. And I think with her confidence, she's getting better and better. And again, it's a lot of times with a junior college transfer, it's just like coming in as a freshman and learning a system again. And she had a good year last year, and maybe wasn't as comfortable as she is this year, and you can just kind of see that going. And I think she'll keep getting better and better.
On Saturday, Chelsea Meeks had a nice game for you, not only scoring, I think she had 13 in that game, but she seemed to really kind of center the team and find the open shooter. And that, between her and Ariel Smith, that seems to be a nice combination.
Yeah, actually, Chelsea plays with such high energy, and I would hate to have her guarding me. Defensively, I think she just causes so many offensive players headaches because she just doesn't ever stop. I get on her a little bit. She'd probably tell you quite a bit about passing up some open shots because she's such a great shooter. But she does do a nice job of finding the open person. If I had one complaint about her game is I just want her to be a little more selfish offensively and take those shots from outside. She's such a great player, understands the game well, makes those around her better, but she needs to kind of look at herself a little bit more and see what she can do from the outside.
You shuffled the starting lineup on Saturday. Rose Hoff got the start. Responded pretty well, seemed like.
Yeah, I was so excited for her. She came in from the Netherlands, played club ball over there, so she lost a year of eligibility, so she's a sophomore. And learning the American game and learning the role that I want her to play in. She's always questioned me playing her inside because when she's in the Netherlands, she's one of the smaller players. And so trying to explain that, but then when she goes out and goes 4 for 4 from three-point land, she may have a point. I may be looking at putting her outside a little more. But I thought she responded well. I kind of laid out what her role is a little more clearly for her, and it's to run. And she is so fast in that open court, and she puts a lot of pressure defensively.
She's a 6-footer, though. She's, by our standards, pretty big girl.
Yeah, and but she's such a great athlete, and I think you'll see her also when she gets more and more comfortable with our system and what we want to keep getting better. But I thought she responded really well to starting, obviously, and the reason we shuffled that around, I think Wheeler does a great job coming off the bench for us, and that's a role that she handles really well, but it gives us scoring and energy. And I thought, one of the things that we're struggling with right now is rebounding. And I thought maybe Rose could help us a little bit with rebounding, being the taller person in there. That's something that we, working at having her crash the boards and getting stronger. She's never lifted weights till she got here. And so I think down the line you'll see her get better also.
Cardinal women split 2 games to open the GLVC season at home. And now on the road, Lewis and Wisconsin Parkside. Parkside ranked 25th in the nation. What's the road trip going to be like?
Well, hopefully it'll be a good road trip, but they're both, very strong. Lewis came in and beat Drury. Wisconsin Parkside beat Washburn. Washburn was number 6 in the nation when they did that, and both really talented teams. And if we go 12 for 67 shooting against them, we're going to get it handed to us. But I'm hoping our players respond well to it. Coach Broughton's been watching a lot of video, and what I tell the kids, it's not a lot of pressure on us. We go in there and see what we can do, and I always like to be the underdog, and I think we definitely are going in this, and I think our players like that too, and as a whole, they really respond well to that, and so I think they're excited about it. Again, it's our first trip this year, that distance, and see how our kids respond to that also, and it's I love the GLVC. The travel is a little challenging as a whole, but right now they're not in school, so it's nice. They're not missing classes, and so that part of it's good, and kind of gets them out. They've just kind of been at Jewel with no classes going on, so this might be a good deal to kind of get them out and traveling a little bit.
Jill will rejoin us in a little bit when we go coach to coach with Larry Holly. And speaking of Coach Holly, he is up next on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.
This is corporate headquarters. As you can see, I have a unique business. How do I compete with the big boys? Got this fancy business address, a marketing department, distribution center, got a great team, even a cafeteria.
That's mine.
From packing and shipping to printing and mailbox services, come into the UPS store for everything a small business needs.
I love logistics.
Get ready for real tropical deliciousness only at Golden Corral. It's our brand new Tropical Island Grill. This is like a tasty trip to the islands. We're talking real island cooking at its best. It's perfectly marinated grilled Key West chicken. It's breaded spicy Cozumel Island shrimp you have to taste to believe. It's grilled Fiji lemon pepper tilapia. It's fire grilled sizzling teriyaki sirloin and much more. It's all part of our endless dinner buffet, still for one amazingly low price, and it's only at Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Hi there, this is Kurt McCoy, local owner, Shop Local 365 KC. Find local businesses here. Live local, shop local with Shop Local 365 KC. Save money with our feature coupons. Search our online city directories and support your local businesses. Your online local business destination for Kansas City. www.shoplocal365kc. proud to support William Jewell Athletics.
Larry Holly joins us. We remind you that our show is sponsored by the UPS store at 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. Coach, a split of the two games. The University of Indianapolis ranked number 11 when you played them on Thursday night. Took it to you pretty good. St. Joseph's College took a last-second shot to beat them. What are your reflections after the first weekend of GLVC play?
Feel very fortunate to be 1-1. We obviously did not play well for the most part against UIndy, and they're an outstanding team. They were very physical with us, and the officials let it go. Found out after the game that they watched the Northwest Missouri State game, and Northwest physically beat us up, or tried to beat us up, and we played with them for quite a while, and then they got away from us at the end. So, and that's what everybody's going to try to do. They're going to try to get real physical with our point guard and with our post player. And on everybody's scouting report, they're going to talk about Dwight Sistrunk and Dylan Deck. Doesn't mean we don't have other good players, because absolutely we do, and we can certainly score and defend without those two on the floor. But that's where it's going to begin, and our offense begins with Dwight. Sometimes it ends with Dylan. So that's what it's going to be.
Is that why you say, pardon the interruption, but is that why you say that they're going to be physical with your point guard just to disrupt the offense?
Sure. I mean, he's the key to it. He initiates it. Doesn't mean he's the only part of it, but he's the guy that's going to make the first pass, and a lot of times he'll have the ball in his hands at the end of the clock if we don't get early offense going.
UIndy, again, they were advertised as being pretty good. They were pretty good, but the physical nature is part of the GLVC, especially it seems like on the eastern side. But we'll see more of that, I would imagine.
We will. I mean, that's what scouting report's going to be. Get real physical with William Jewell. It'll take them out of what they're trying to do at the offensive end, because it is difficult to stay in front of Dwight, and it is difficult to handle Dylan if he catches it in the low post. They're going to try to move him out. Right. They're going to double and try to get the ball out of the hands of Dwight. So we'll make adjustments to that. Against St. Joseph's on Saturday, we got shots. We simply missed, and we got the ball inside. We had 34 free throw attempts.
Right.
Unfortunately, we only made 15 of them, and we've been shooting the ball. I think Dylan Deck was shooting right at 80% from the free throw line going into that game, and I think he went 5 for 12. I think I want to say John Taylor went 4 for 8, so our two bigs went a combined whatever that is, 9 out of 20, I guess, and then we go 3 for 19 from 3. So I know we can shoot the basketball. I know we'll shoot better, whether it's on the road or at home. That was just one of those nights that we just kind of survived. And for us to win that game, I picked up the paper the next day, and we were the only team from the West to beat the East. It was a crossover game for all 16 teams.
Got a tough road trip coming up this weekend, which we'll talk about. But spanning the two games this past weekend, what were you the most happiest about?
Well, the fact we're 1-1, I think, is probably the thing I'm happiest about. We competed, and we did a lot of good things. Did better Saturday than we did on Thursday against Indy. We just couldn't get the ball to go down. And you can play great, and the shots won't go down. You can shoot it extremely well and not play well. If you get both of them going your way, you're pretty tough to beat. But you need one or the other. And fortunately, we played pretty hard and played pretty well against St. Joseph's. Nothing went down. We changed our 2-3 zone late in the game, which I think was effective. We needed some changes. We got I think an 8-point lead late, and then it disappeared in a heartbeat. And we get fouled and go to the line and either miss the front end of a 1-on-1 or go 1 for 2, and then they come down and hit a 2 or a 3. And obviously they tied it, and again we got a shot in with 2.9 on the clock and held them off. So I felt better about it Sunday than I did Saturday night. I was pretty frustrated Saturday night after the game, and just disappointed in the fact that was a game. If we shoot it normally, we probably win that game by a comfortable margin. No disrespect to St. Joseph's at all, because they're a very good basketball team, and they were coming off a huge win at Rockhurst on Thursday. Yeah.
You mentioned the zone, and I was surprised to see them play zone against us on Saturday as much as they did. Were you surprised at all by that?
Well, not the way we were shooting the ball. I mean, typically if somebody's struggling and they have any options inside, you might go to a zone. We did it just to change it up and see if we could affect them a little bit, because they had been affected. You know, they were scoring against our man, and it worked for us. But we've got good enough shooters that if they zone us, our shooters ought to their eyes just ought to, brighten quickly, because we have been shooting. We had a great week of practice. We're looking back on it as a coaching staff and seeing what may have affected it. Obviously, we had 2 home games with no students here. I don't know if it was the quietness of the arena or what it was, but it's behind us. We need to learn from it, get better because of it, and we're going to need to, because these 2 opponents this week are pretty tough.
Dylan Deck, I believe, in double figures both nights. John Taylor had the big night on Saturday, but I thought an interesting statistic was Craig Matson's line. He had 10 points and 1 rebound on Thursday, 1 point and 10 rebounds on Saturday. You ever seen anything quite like that?
Never have. Never have. And truthfully, if somebody would have asked me after the game how many points he had, I wouldn't have known, but I would have thought it was more than 1.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he didn't make a field goal, and he made the free throw late, 1 out of 2. So, that is unusual. But I'm really proud of Craig. This year he's been much more assertive. He worked extremely hard in the weight room this summer. Much better defender, much better rebounder, and that's a key for us at both ends of the floor. I'm very proud of what he's done in the rebounding department.
You touched on Lewis a little bit and Wisconsin Parkside. They were playing this weekend. What do you know about them besides those things?
Well, I'll start with Lewis. They're guard-oriented. They play extremely hard. A year ago, they made the postseason, the region tournament, not only the conference tournament, but the region tournament, and they're very competitive. They have last year's freshman of the year. Know a little more about them than I do Parkside. I haven't looked a whole lot at Parkside, but Parkside gets your attention when they go to Drury and win. Yeah. That's a tough place to go. Drury has an exceptional team this year, and for anyone to go in there and win, that's remarkable. So they're both 7-3, and I'm sure they're licking their chops at having Rockhurst and William Jewell come in, and we want to go up there and surprise them a little bit, step up and play. I hope they spend a lot of time looking at the Indy and St. Joseph's video, because we're going to play better than that.
Larry Holly has been our guest here inside the Cardinal Playbook. The Cardinals lose to the University of Indianapolis, then come back with a last-second shot by Dwight Sistrunk to win on Saturday. We'll talk about those last-second plays when we return. It'll be coach to coach inside the Cardinal Playbook.
Dwight Sistrunk Jr. got it! 2.6 seconds left.
What's my motto? Play to win. What's the key? Logistics. Takes planning. Everybody on the same page. Check this out. This is my playbook. Serious business. Right player, right place, right time. Did it at the UPS store. Bam! High five. Color, pictures, charts, graphics. Nice, huh? I love logistics.
It says in the book we should play as a team.
Professional color printing. Now at the UPS store.
Sometimes happy marriages fall apart, and divorce is the only way out. At a time like this, you need an attorney who will listen to you and will work for you. I'm Stephanie Shutt, and I understand that divorce can be hard for anyone, and I know the importance of a fair settlement. The decisions that are made now will affect the future happiness and well-being of you and your family. At Costello and Farah, we will fight for you. Call or visit 505-HELP and let me help you.
Before the game or after the game, it's Poor Boy Oil Company for your pre- and post-game food and beverage. ConocoPhillips and BP Amoco Fuels get you to the game, and our large vendors give you great food and beverage choices before or after the game. Our small-town roots and family value philosophies help us to maintain the highest standards in customer service and value. Poor Boy Oil Company. Find us around the Northland, wherever the Cardinals fly.
Inside the Cardinal Playbook resumes. It's Coach to Coach as Jill Kress rejoins us. Larry Holly is here as well, as the coaches have now seen their first 2 GLVC teams. Just quickly, what's the feeling? Is there any difference that you can tell between this year and last year in the GLVC, Larry?
Well, they're very good. I don't know if the 4 we're playing this year match up with the 4 we played last year. They don't, but they're very, very good. Indianapolis, obviously, ranked number 11 in the nation. St. Joseph's, about a 500 ball club, kind of like us. Lewis and Parkside probably in the 30 to 45 range nationally. They're not getting all the top votes, but they're both 7-3. So we know our hands are going to be full this weekend. But last year, our first 4 games were against number 2, number 3, number 7, and number 8. So not as tough, but certainly it'll be a challenge for us to win those games this weekend. But I think our guys will be up to the test.
Jill, can you tell at this point in the season, is it a different conference at all than it was last year?
I think right now there's probably a little more parity than there was last year, but there's some of those top, Indianapolis was ranked. We have Lewis that's ranked. We have Wisconsin Parkside, and so it's kind of a tough road for us. But the GLVC is always strong, and they get great athletes, and I think you got to be prepared for that.
Sistrunk, 6 seconds. Dwight Sistrunk Jr. got it! 2.6 seconds left.
Oh my goodness, my heart is racing.
The freshman from Des Moines hits a great big shot.
Here's our question on Coach to Coach today. I'd like you to talk about how do you look at, because we saw the men's game against St. Joseph's College come down to a last-second shot. What's your philosophy in the last few seconds? Say you're tied in a ball game. What do you want to do, or what do you not want to do when you're playing for that winning shot? Jill?
Well, not turn it over, but I want to make sure that I get a good shot, within a reasonable time, but not one that we take that last shot and we miss, and they have a chance to go down there and get a shot off.
What's the magic number?
I would want to take a shot with under 4 seconds when you have a good one. Obviously, if you have a really good shot with 7 seconds, you're going to take that. But for me, it's going to be the last 4 seconds, get a good shot off. And, that way I think it'd be tough for them to get the ball and get down there and get a shot off that will beat you.
Larry, how do you feel about those last few seconds?
4 or less. If it's tied, obviously, we're going to go for the last shot. And obviously, if you're down, your philosophy is going to be a lot different probably. But if it's tied, as it was, we wanted to take the last shot at 4 or less. And fortunately, Dwight made one with about 2.9, and it didn't give them a lot of time. A year ago, we did that against Drury, and there was 3 point something, I think, on the clock, and they hit about a 70-footer to put it into the second overtime. So, you never know for sure, but that's our philosophy. We'd like to take the last shot, give ourselves a chance to go get an offensive rebound, but not give them a chance to get a reasonable shot before the horn goes off if we do miss.
I know the situation, it depends a lot on that, but do you have and you don't have to say what it is, but do you have a play you really love for those situations where maybe you have 10 seconds left or so?
It changes from year to year. We had a player here by the name of Kyle Fisher, and he had 7 game winners in his career. And we would just put it in his hands, let him go make a decision. And that's what we did with Dwight, and we may do that with Dwight. And we've done that with a number of players over the years. So at the end of the clock, we're probably going to put it in his hands, assuming he's not in foul trouble or hurt, and let him go make a good play. There might be a specific time that maybe we're trying to take it specifically to a post player or a wing player. Obviously, if we're down 3, that changes what we're going to do. We may be looking for, in the case this year, Craig Mattson or Jordan Lewis or Ricky Tisdale or Andrew Schofield. Somebody can knock the 3 down. But if it's something where it's just a shot to win the game, we're probably going to put it in his hands and let him go make a good decision. And if he's not in there, we'd probably do the same thing with Devontae Bell. I would trust Devontae to do that as well.
Jill, do you have a play you really like to rely on?
Yeah, I think it kind of what Coach Holly said, it kind of changes year to year. But you kind of learn as a coach which players are most comfortable with the ball in their hands at that time. And, it may not be your leading scorer all the time that likes that situation or is comfortable in that situation. I think as a coach you need to know that. Also sometimes defensively, if there's a defensive weaker player out there, we might run something towards them. So it's kind of a situation who you're playing, but I know as a coach, I like to kind of figure out which players are most comfortable in that situation, and we'll run something that way.
Any great players from the past that you could pick out that you really like to give that? Coach mentioned Kyle Fisher. Who was 1 or 2 maybe that you really counted on?
Hillary Adams, it was, she's a 4-time All-American here, 8-time All, when you look at the academic. She was a competitive gamer, and she was someone that we would run run the ball too. And if she didn't get a shot, she would drive in. She's and if she missed, it's still okay. Some kids, if they miss, it kind of devastates them for a long time. But she would be disappointed, but she would bounce back from that. She's probably one first player I would think of off the top of my head.
Besides Kyle, over the years, anybody else stick out for you in those situations?
Jordan Jamestown, who was at the game this week earlier, visiting.
So was Hillary, too, by the way.
He's now an assistant coach at Adams State College with Lewis Wilson, who graduated here and played on our 86, 87, 87, 88 teams. So, there's a number of them, over the past years. You could throw Steve Broughton in that mix, the assistant coach on the women's side. Certainly in my first 2 years here, that's somebody that we wanted the ball in his hands. He could really score the basketball, whether it was a post-up on a mismatch, because he's a 6'3" two-guard, or whether it was from the perimeter. So he was a guy I looked to my first 2 years here.
I know you've got something to say about that.
No, I was just thinking, I hope he doesn't listen to that, because then we're all going to have to hear that for a while. But no, he's a great person. I know he's a really good player. So.
That's Coach to Coach, and we'll be back with a final word in a moment on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.
I'm going to change the world. I've got computers, I've got financing, I've got clients. I've got a business plan. I have VC money. I've got a game-changing idea. I've given myself room to grow. We're dangerous. Very dangerous. This is only the beginning. I'm going to own the future. There's just one problem. I don't know how to print this.
Professional printing.
Help?
And everything else a small business needs, now at the UPS store.
I love logistics.
I'm Jesse Limekiller, the CEO of Belvoir Winery. You can reach us at www.belvoirwinery.com. We grow Norton, Chamberson, Vignole, and Muscat on the site. We have mature vines, 7 to 10 years of age, behind the buildings, and then we have 2 new vineyards that have just started up. We have a full bar available, and then in addition, a lot of people like to wander around the property. You can take your drinks and wander through the property and see all the things that there are to see on site. My name is Jesse Limekiller, CEO of Belvoir Winery, 110 years in the making.
Thanks for joining us inside the Cardinal Playbook this week. Don't forget the Cardinals are on the road this coming week at Lewis on Thursday night and at Wisconsin Parkside Saturday afternoon. We'll have the live audio coverage starting at 5:10 Thursday and 12:40 Saturday afternoon on the William Jewell College Sports Network. We'll see you next week on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.